My name is Pamela, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about homelessness and involving it with smaller communities versus larger communities. Whenever people think of homeless people, it's normally just associated with larger communities because that's where most people see homeless people at, and that's not really the case at all. Big cities like New York and Chicago, every street you turn on, you're going to see homeless people. And basically that's the problem. You need to work on having soup kitchens, shelters, and that kind of stuff commonly in smaller communities as well, so that homeless people have access to these things as well. And that's the problem. Rural communities are lacking this. One solution I actually found online, it was by this guy named Nicholas Lowinger, and he was actually a 15-year-old boy who went to a homeless shelter with his mom one day, and he was really excited to show off these new shoes he had. And his mom was like, "You can't do that. Not all children have the same privileges as you." And Nicholas actually took it upon himself to go out of his way and start a foundation called the Gotta Have Soul Foundation. And it's basically where they go through and they donate new shoes, used shoes, but it's just donating it to children in need. This was actually a very good idea. When you look at how many people were helped and how many people got new shoes just from the foundation, I mean, the statistics are high and up there, and that's good. But the problem with this is that not all homeless people are children. I mean, you have women and men ranging from age, and they need shoes, they need clothing, they need everything the same amount that the children do as well. And so I think that's the main reason why that wasn't that helpful, was because they aren't the only people that need it. Another thing I actually found were survival kits, and I found this very interesting because I actually think that would be very beneficial. And basically in the survival kits is where you take a kit or something that's disposable and you fill it with things that homeless people would need. You can fill it with snacks, you can fill it with pots, pans, toothbrushes, hairbrushes, cosmetics, anything, but basically anything that would just help the homeless out. But the one downfall with this is that when you bring this into small communities, it's going to be hard to try and gather up a lot of people that are going to be able to donate that many things or purchase things to help the homeless like that. But basically, when it comes down to it, my claim on how to help this situation would be to have one drive a month and just do it at some kind of recreational center in the town. You could do it at a YMCA, you could do it at a park, a pool, a parking lot. Any of these places are able to be used. And basically at that drive, you'll have volunteers from the small community come in. They'll donate things. You can donate food, clothing, anything that would just help the homeless at all. And just basically help the homeless out for a day. Doing this drive once a month, it's going to assure the homeless people that they're not going to be all alone by themselves, that they have help, that there's help out there in the community for them, and that the community actually cares. And this is a very important thing. Homeless need to know that the community cares. And the best way to do this, for the drive to work and everything to go out well, to have volunteers, everything needed, would be to broadcast the event. And you could do this probably a month or two in advance before you actually do the very first event. But just put up flyers, pamphlets. You could even put something in the newspaper just to let it be known what you're doing. This is going to get the attention of not only homeless people, but it's going to get the attention of other smaller communities. And if this approach works, it could actually be used in other smaller communities to help the homeless population. I think this is a very good claim, and that it would help smaller communities in getting rid of the homeless population and not just getting them off the homelessness, but it could also help them get themselves together, working on getting homes, money, jobs, just by helping them get some of the assistance they need. But helping the homeless in general is something that needs work on, not just in smaller communities. I mean, it needs help everywhere. Just because smaller communities, need help with the shelters and the drives and all of that, doesn't mean that it's not needed everywhere else. Broadcasting this in small events is going to draw the attention of everyone, and this is a good thing. One quote I found actually said that using the National Alliance 2007 study, there are around 75,000 people homeless on any given night. Therefore, around just 7,700 people in rural areas are homeless on each given night in the United States. I found this quote by this woman named Natalie Harris, and it was from 2007 in the National Symposium of Homeless Research. One more quote I found really interesting was, "It has been shown that fewer job opportunities, lower wages, and longer periods of unemployment also plague rural poor more than their urban counterparts." And I found this really interesting because this goes to show that in smaller communities they are struggling more than they are in larger communities, even though both are homeless. This I wasn't able to find an author for, but it was in the Bread for the World Institute, 2005, page 48. And then one last quote I found is that studies comparing urban and rural homeless populations have shown that homeless people in rural areas are more likely to be white, female, married, and currently working, homeless for the first time, and homeless for a shorter period of time. And I think this is really important to help you understand that not all homeless people are people that you don't know. It could be your neighbor today. They lost their job, and it's critical to think that they aren't in this situation. Everyone's in it for different reasons. And so as long as everyone comes through in smaller communities to help one another out, everything should be good. Thank you all for your time.